So in each of these windows, there is a different girl offering her services. There are many of them. This red light district is really very interesting. Friends, we find ourselves in Amsterdam, the city of canals, the Venice of the North, with bicycles everywhere, parks, nature all around, photogenic houses on every corner, and of course we must mention the place where prostitution is legal, which is internationally known. Today we are going to confirm all these rumors and discuss in detail what the mythical red light district of Amsterdam is all about. You are warned that if you are watching this video with family, we will talk in a very open but also very respectful manner about the entire topic of prostitution. It is indeed very possible that you have heard on the internet in some video or while talking to someone about the topic of prostitution in this country, in the Netherlands. Everything you have heard is entirely true, and we will discuss what I have seen there, what I have managed to document about what many call the oldest profession in the world. What is the red light district? First things first. Well, to put it simply, it is a neighborhood like any other where even entire families live, along with churches, banks, supermarkets, and police stations. One detail is that it is filled with sex-related places. I am talking about sex museums, souvenir shops with sexual themes, sex theaters, and soon we will talk in detail about what this is. Sex shops and peep shows, where you put in a coin, a curtain opens, and you can actually see people having sex right before your eyes. And possibly the most famous aspect of this district are the windows where women prostitutes offer their sexual services as such. They are house windows with a very red light, with a curtain that indicates whether they are occupied or available, where the client can come and ask how much it is. There is an exchange of words. It's not much, it's 100, 150. Come in and there is a small bed right there along with a dressing area where the act takes place and the service is completed. As of the date this video was recorded, there are between 200 and 300 windows in this area, and prostitution has been legal in the Netherlands since 1911, although there are texts that narrate that discussions about legislation for this began as early as 1413. There is even a text that I am going to quote, I will read it, which was written in 1413 and says that prostitutes are necessary in large cities, especially cities like ours. Or it is a necessity, it must be approved that in Amsterdam, one must come with an open mind. And be aware, this law has been modified in various ways to the point that the last significant change was in the year 2000, which stipulated that there are prison sentences and heavy fines for those who hire prostitution services and suspect minors or people being exploited. Since 2000, you can go to jail for years and you can pay hundreds of thousands of euros in fines to prevent people from acting foolishly, to stop the bad ones from being clever. And we could partly say that is nice about the whole issue of legal prostitution. Here, 90% of the girls you will see offering their services in these windows are independent. They are entrepreneurs. They pay their rent. They charge for their services. There is no pimp, no handler, no thug involved. They set the prices they want. They pay their taxes, and the police protect them. If they encounter a problem of someone not paying them, they can call the police because here it is recognized as a profession. In fact, one of the oldest professions that exist in our world. You might be wondering about the dynamics, what it's like to go to the red light district and how to hire a service. Well, we put this to the test. We didn't actually enter the service, but we did ask questions before starting to record this video. My girlfriend Ari accompanied me. Okay? Before you start with your comments, what we observed is that one approaches the window. I was able to record some footage with a small hidden camera I brought. It doesn't record in the best quality, but it's enough to capture some moments because, well, taking photos is completely prohibited. I'm doing this for informational purposes, and we are censoring all the faces. The point of this video is not to expose anyone, right? The little window, you ask, right. The minimum price they offer you is approximately $50, and from there it depends on the girl and what you want to do. $50 is like the base rate. And this theoretically covers 15 minutes of service. There will be girls who charge a minimum of $100, a minimum of $150. And from there, if you want much more time, we heard that a man was quoted as much as $400, so it can get expensive. Payment is made in advance, you are let in, and theoretically, the curtain is closed, and it happens right there. Although some girls who had rooms that were a bit more rundown would tell you that they would take you through a little hallway and put you in another room, which I imagine was probably quite dirty. And you may be wondering why I only mention girls, those prostitutes. Well, this is because you really do not see any men offering their sexual services. I was researching, and in fact, at a museum we read that in 1994 there was a consideration to incorporate men into these alleys, but it didn't materialize. I suppose people didn't find it appealing, and male prostitution can only be found in more specific brothels, not as such in the windows. All of this, of course, has a historical context. It is narrated that around the year 1200 is when the red light district began to exist, so it has been happening for over 800 years. For those people saying that today's youth is different, no, this has been happening for 800 years. It is not a matter of current times or today's libertinism. In Amsterdam, there has always been a lot of prostitution, which is said to be because it has always been a fishing city with fishermen, and it has always been a major port. Fishermen would arrive after weeks, perhaps months at sea, wanting some human contact, and here they were offered that. Prostitutes used to offer themselves in the windows of their homes, and over time this evolved into granting permits to certain residences, to certain properties, so that sexual services could be offered in their windows and you could see them as we find them today. There is a very unique code in this, and this is analyzing the colors of the lights in the windows. Most of the windows have red lights, which indicates, according to what we were told, that it is a woman or that the one who is prostituting is a woman with female organs. There are windows with blue lights. According to my sources, these are either transvestites or transgender individuals. And from there are various other categories. Some for older prostitutes, others for different sizes, etc. It is quite complex. Are you also wondering how much it costs to rent one of these little booths? Because, well, we already mentioned the prices, but how much does it cost the entrepreneurial girl? Well, you can find windows that charge you from about $75 per shift to around $300. The shift usually lasts from 8 to 10 hours and is divided into time slots. The daytime schedule is literally from around 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Then we have the evening schedule, which is something like from 5 p.m. until 1 a.m. And the nighttime rate, which is the most expensive, usually runs from 9 p.m. to 5 in the morning. I found websites on the internet that offer cabins as such. They show you photos, include Wi-Fi, provide a bathroom with soap that gets refilled every day, include a shower, and some have a shared shower with shampoo and conditioner. They even specify the speed of the Wi-Fi as high speed because there are also girls who rent these cabins to offer their services with a webcam, right? You know, the famous cam girls, they set up their little camera, and if the specifications even mention LED lights that change color, then it's really interesting. The most expensive shift I found was around $300, and this means that for the owners of these establishments, it represents a tremendous business. Let's do some calculations because I couldn't find, for example, how much it costs to buy one. But doing the math, let's assume you rent 2 shifts a day and that you don't rent them every day. Maybe you rent them 20 days a month. So $400 for 20. Okay, that makes $8,000 a month for 12 months. Okay, $96,000 annually. They obviously have to pay for special permits and taxes, okay? Our profit isn't that easy, but let's assume that half goes to taxes and permits when $48,000 is not profit per year. And if we calculate it, let's say over 7 years, it's not real estate. One of these booths for sale costs about $350,000, and we are talking about a small room, not one that you like to be 15 or 20 medis. These are mental calculations, okay, that I came up with on the spot. But I think they can give us a real approximation of how much one would earn and how much it would cost to buy one as such. Interesting, and I repeat, all entirely legal. And another question that comes up a lot is what happens with disease examinations? Do they have to undergo regular checkups as a regulation to ensure a clean service free from sexually transmitted diseases? Well, according to my research, no, and here's why. The laws in the Netherlands support individual freedom a lot, don't they? Everyone does what they want, which is why prostitution is legal. It is seen as an individual decision, and it is considered that forcing someone to go to a doctor periodically would go against their individual freedoms. It would be like forcing you to do something. So, as such, a regulation on that topic, according to my research, note the asterisk there, does not happen. Although my research also indicated that most people providing services are indeed getting checked all the time, there always has to be a condom involved. It's something that is said, that is rumored for sure. Oh, okay, among the fun, curious, very curious things that happen there, I was telling you about the sex theaters, the famous peep shows. Here it goes, and be aware, I repeat that this has to be viewed with an open mind. There are places where you actually have to line up and everything, where you arrive with your $2 coin, okay, you put it in, okay, through a little hole, and a curtain opens. Then you enter a private booth, close the door, and you have to go in alone, or if you are with your partner, you can enter with your partner, but you don't have to go in alone if you are with friends. And as maybe a person is not acting alone, right? Whether it's touching themselves or undressing, whatever it is, or couples having relations, it's something very uncomfortable, at least for me to stop. And for me, since we went together, you can really look into the eyes of the person who is performing. And not only that, but you can also see the people from the other booths because it's a circle. So you're looking directly at the guy who's licking his lips and you're like, I see you, man. Then there are the theaters, okay? The entrance costs $60 and the truth is that it is expensive. You enter a 1-hour show where you see things, activities that invite people from the audience, like with a banana. The girl puts it there and people start biting the banana. By the way, I haven't mentioned this, but both men and women come here. It's so touristy that you even see entire groups of elderly people being guided with a flag, entering the shows, having fun and enjoying their beer. It is what it is. It's part of the tourist attraction of this city, right? The red light district, which is incredibly well known and attracts numerous visitors from all over the world, has a rich history and cultural significance. Now, I am going to share my personal opinion on this matter, which I believe is important to consider. Okay, I emphasize that this is my personal opinion on this. In many scenarios, it is seen as something fun, isn't it? Lots of laughs, haha, but in others, the truth is it looks very forced and uncomfortable for many of the people you see performing live because that's what they are doing. They are acting. They have been doing it for 6 or 7 hours, which is their entire work shift. Honestly, it's unpleasant to see that there are people doing it in such a systematic way where it's clear there's no enjoyment on their part. I can't help but think if there are people losing their taste for sexual intimacy, which is truly beautiful, completely human, and lovely to enjoy. But if it becomes your job and hundreds of people are watching you do it every day, well, there will be some who love it and stay motivated, but I imagine many more do it out of economic necessity and don't really enjoy being in that situation. So if you're watching me and you might be in a similar situation, do your best to get out of there. See it as personal work and keep yourself motivated. But hey, if you're there and you like it, great, that's awesome. I just want to briefly mention it, and in my humble opinion, my personal opinion is that in many cases, if you see a scene, it can be a bit sad as things are, as I feel them. So, there you have it, friends, the topic of legal prostitution in the red light district of Amsterdam and in general throughout the country of the Netherlands. Did you know about this topic? If you would like to add some information or perhaps correct me on something, please do so down in the comments. Thank you very much for joining me, and as always, I'll see you in a few days with a new video. Goodbye.